to be inviting and inspiring to people. You want to draw them in. You can't impose something. You have to propose something. So, and it's to me like a school. A school is not meant to be just this disciplinarian type environment, but it's also not meant to be just this lackadaisical do whatever you want. I mean, for you, like, what would be the essence of a good school?
Well, I think the purpose of education and school and education aren't necessarily the same thing. You can be schooled for many, many years and not get an education, and you can get an education and never attend a school.
Is being schooled like a euphemism for being institutionalized, maybe?
Well, it could be.
In some ways,
it could
yeah.
be. I mean, you were being trained in some way, but I mean, the bottom line for me, for my kids, is that I want them to be confident, competent adults. I'm not raising children. I'm raising adults. And so far, at least, I think Corpus Christi has really given them that opportunity, has really helped them as something that Kathy, the head of school at Corpus Christi, says. The school is a partner in education of your kids.
Partner.
And that and it is they are at all times very respectful of the fact that the parent is the primary educator
Correct,
of
yeah.
children. And so to have that relationship of trust where my wife and I are working, the kids are off at school, to be able to trust that they're going to teach them in a way that I support fully. You know, to me, that's the gold standard for having a school for your kids, is that you have this relationship of trust. And for so many parents in Kentucky, for whom their assigned public school is the only option they have. Now they can be, it's a lot is driven by wealth. A lot is driven by the fact that the parents have to work, which is also driven by wealth. And whether or not they trust the school that they send their kids to, it's kind of irrelevant.
Yeah.
They have to send them somewhere, and if they can't afford to send them to a school that can earn their trust,
Right, if they don't have the money,
and if the locally assigned public school that they're sending their kids to, if that school earns their trust, that's kind of a bonus. But it's not the thing that is decisive.
Do you think that, like, generally in America today, there's, I guess the way it's that the public education school system has evolved is that it really is just because you now have dual income homes, you know, if they are dual income homes and they have to be dual income homes, that school is more essentially subsidized childcare rather than, you know.
First of all, I have in the past few years, I want to reiterate, in the past few years, I have come to have enormous respect for teachers because they have to deal with my children in particular. And so I don't want to poo-poo teachers. Because teachers will outwork any one of us in this room.
Sure.
Absolutely.
And to the extent that they are given that freedom to, you know, apply their professional training to helping kids reach new heights, to have those aha moments in their head.
Oh, it's incredible.
That's part of the compensation,
Right.
right? If you're a teacher and you get to really inspire and help kids develop themselves as learners, like, that's part of the compensation. And I think for a lot of teachers, the mandates, the top-down structure of a lot of the schooling that we have, particularly in Kentucky, doesn't let teachers operate to their fullest potential to help those kids achieve those heights. And so I have enormous sympathy for teachers, especially in this public system, where administrators may or may not have their backs,
Right.
When it comes to delivering education or assuring order within a classroom. But to say that it's subsidized, in some cases, is subsidized childcare, I don't think that's totally unreasonable. I think it makes me I want to make sure that teachers are getting their due.
Absolutely.
In terms of like being able to deliver that education. But the way the system is structured, at the end of the day, for some parents, that I think that's a reasonable assessment.
Yeah, and I don't think it's meant to be negative
No.
on teachers at all.
It's a prioritization issue.
Right.
Because of the way administration works.
Yeah. Well, when I was, I taught in 40 different schools, public and private, throughout the area, giving talks on chastity, healthy relationships, marriage, sexuality, things like that. And not easy going in 8th and 9th grade classrooms with that message. But the things that I've witnessed were very obviously different in every environment. But the schools, public schools specifically, you're exactly right. The teachers often didn't feel like the administration had their back. They felt like their hands were tied. They felt like the parents weren't invested. I had heard that during COVID, like 10,000 students in Jefferson County were just lost in the system because they had one phone number that went to one parent's cell phone that had a voicemail that wasn't even set up. And so you couldn't even leave a message, and they never called back or texted back. So these kids were completely lost. They may have never gone back to school. And you wonder, like, that is the state of the family today in some ways, right? Not in all ways, not every school. So like subsidized childcare, glorified babysitting, whatever you call it, like as a youth minister, before I was speaking in just in my 3 parishes in my region, I faced that too. Right? Like we would have after school youth group, but the parents would sit in their car on their phones, if they were even there, and they didn't even care what I was doing with them. It was like glorified babysitting. And I was just a youth minister. I can't imagine what teachers feel. And I think that's what we're kind of getting at. How do teachers feel about this situation?